for me, it was all about, it's very clear to me, even somewhat then, I think at the time that I got in, I was just so excited to be in. I was so excited to sort of try to express myself and get in the business and get in those writing rooms. But when you take a step back, even then and certainly now, it's clear that we were seen as product, not art, or not commercial art. You know what I'm saying? So that's still a struggle, by the way. But we were just there to sort of service and build an audience. And so until that, and it's like I remember being at Fox on South Central, which was, I think, very progressive work. It was pushing images and stories. And what I loved with my mentor and friend, Ralph Farquhar, was doing, and Michael Whitehorn at the time, but Ralph more specifically my mentor, but they were trying to show our humanity. And they were using this the half hour form to sort of push dramatic there, sort of the dramatic tones of who we are that just sort of shade us in a little bit more. But really, what I loved is that, okay, this is what you gave me, and this is what I'm going to do with it, and using their influence and power, or whatever it was at the time, to get our stories told. But from a business perspective, I think I'm pretty clear that it was just, let's just get this on so we can build up the numbers. And right after South Central, around the time that South Central was on, that's when Fox acquired football. And once football came, we were no longer valued, even as product. You know what I'm saying? Even as to get those numbers, because also it's tied to advertising. The advertising dollars for a black show are significantly less than if you put a white show on that slot. So once they were able to sort of shore up the ratings number, you can slide then in this other show that even may be less popular, but will garner a higher dollar because the faces that are on that TV show. So that was the whole 90s. It was just a money-making thing. And I think what was beautiful is that a few of us took the opportunity to push the narrative forward, push the stories through. Some of our talent was able to, come through there and hold on until there was another bus. But Salim and I specifically, I think, we were one of the few who got to sort of survive the drought, and so that was, and then be a part of the sort of spark that's the boom that we're sort of experiencing now. And it's funny, I used to feel very self-conscious about this, what I'm about to say, but not anymore, because it's just the truth. And I think that because other people won't say it, I'm now going to say it for us. But the truth is, if you kind of go back, so certainly I'm here on the success of my mentors and those who did it before me, was able to sort of get the experience to craft, to sort of, launch onto Girlfriends. But there was, and after Girlfriends and the Game was canceled, if you go back in that time, there were no movies about us. And there were the Game was it, and I think Everybody Hates Chris was on. And then after CW sort of got rid of Girlfriends and the Game, there was nothing left on television. And Salim, and I'm gonna give him I'm not just blowing him up because he's my husband and Valentine's Day was yesterday. I'm just trying to tell the history because it's very important. When Jumping the Broom came to the house, and the budget that was attached to it, you mentioned Dry Longo, you mentioned the budget of Dry Longo, which was $25,000. When I think about that, of course, it didn't scare him when the budget was only supposed to be $6 million. $6 million for Jumping the Broom, major studio, and everybody was calling him. I don't know how they got his number because he changes his number all the time, but they found his number and they were calling him and they were like, yeah, congratulations. But behind that congratulations was, you've got to win. You've got to win. You've got to get this on, because everything at the time, we found out that all the black movies were they were on hold. And when he was able to do Jumping the Broom successfully for $6 million in Canada, it was a hit for it was beating some studio films that came out. If you remember that, right after that, and that was a success, right after that, Think Like a Man was greenlit at Sony and hit $100 million. And after that, we have sort of in film have been sort of doing pretty well. and then in television have done pretty well. The Game has another similar story. The night that we premiered on BET, up until the cancellation, again, nothing was on. And when we said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up all the time, but I just wanted to sort of, when we hit 7.7, technology is a part of that story. We needed Twitter, we needed transparency for the audience to be able to say what they liked and what, because apparently when we got canceled at Girlfriends, I always loved the story and the Game. The CW, or UPN at the time for Girlfriends, the mailroom was overflooded and they broke the phone system twice. But they're not responsible to tell you that once they've made those decisions. But now that we have Twitter, so my point is, the audience and technology drove to 7.7. And those two major things have helped turn the moment that we're in conjunction with success. Scandal came out right after the Game hit 7.7, and then Kerry Washington and Scandal comes right back out of that in April. And then we had Jumping the Broom, and then Sparkle came out, and Think Like a Man, and all these sort of things were happening, and it was certainly like the business was like, wait a minute, there's money. And the thing now is, why TV is such a boon is just because it's global, and it's just, basically they're making money as soon as you walk, those 10 episodes. That was my cue to shut up. And I'll shut up.